Hi everyone, in this lesson we're going to look at posh words and posh expressions from the good old days when Britain ruled the world, well, a quarter of the world, and there was a British Empire, and all this language comes from those times. It's old-fashioned now, people don't use it, but if you like old literature, if you like films that are set in older times and you like the idea of the posh, proper British character, then this is the language that is associated with those times. So let's start with salutations. This is a fancy ways of saying hello or saying goodbye. If you're meeting a posh person, they don't say, how are you? They say, how do you do? And the answer is not, I'm fine. The answer is, how do you do? How do you do? How do you do? Next, when you're saying goodbye, you say, toodle pip, toodles. Or you say, cheerio, cheerio, cheerio now, I've got to go. Cheerio comes from when we're having a drink and we say cheers, cheers. People used to say back in the past, cheerio. But then it came to mean just goodbye. So cheerio. Now let's look at posh words to do with people. Now, in the Cockney East End, in the old Cockney East End, which don't really exist anymore, they say fella. What a nice fella means a nice man. But the posh way of saying fella is fellow. Oh, he's a jolly good fellow means a good man, a fellow. Old chap. What's that, old chap? Hey, old chap. What have you got there? Chap means man, means more young man, but it could extend up to middle age, that kind of thing. Old chum. Who? You're my old chum. I haven't seen you since Oxford. How are you doing, old chum? Old friend. My dear, you look absolutely exquisite in your pearls. You say my dear if it's a term of endearment to show that you're close to someone. Perhaps it could be your wife. It could be your sister even, my dear. But a term of address that you use to women that you're close to. But men use to women, not women use to each other. And darling. Darling would be the term of endearment that a husband would use to his wife. Darling, my darling, I can't live without you. My darling, we must marry tomorrow, my darling. Okay, so in case you didn't know, posh people do swear. Here are the swear words from the old times. Oh, bugger! I've dropped my pen. I'm not going to say what it means. So moving on from that. Crumbs. Oh, crumbs. I can't believe this. I haven't got crumbs all over my face. I'm just slightly embarrassed. Crumbs. I can't believe what's happened. And fiddlesticks is, I think it's when people don't want to say the word that begins with F. They say, oh, fiddlesticks instead. So it's all swearing. Oh, bugger is actually a swear word, whereas these ones are a little bit more polite language. Moving on, from those good old British Empire days, and still now, which is true actually, the posher somebody is, the more enthusiastic about life they are. Maybe there's a reason for that, I don't know. But a way of saying this is that they use emphatic adjectives. When you're emphatic about something, it means you feel it strongly. So the language is more extra, you could say, when they describe things. So a posh person, instead of saying, well, they could say excellent. You could say something is excellent, but they might say, what a spiffing idea. Absolutely spiffing. Spiffing means excellent. Stupendous. Oh my word, that Gâteau is stupendous. Means very big, huge. And then perhaps you start eating it and you say, oh, what a ghastly gâteau. Ghastly. Oh, it's absolutely ghastly. I don't like this at all. It means tastes very bad. Frightful. Frightful when you say when something is scary to you or when you don't like it. So you could say, what a frightful young man. Go away, you're not having my purse. What a frightful young man. Now we've got glorious. Perhaps it's oh, what a glorious day to play some tennis. Beautiful day. Marvellous and splendid mean the same kind of thing. So good like this. You could say, it's a marvellous day for playing croquet. Absolutely marvellous. If you don't know what croquet is, it's an old-fashioned game with that you play with a stick and some balls. And when you play that game, it's splendid. It's a splendid game to play. So let's look now at exclamations. These are all phrases that don't mean that much in terms of the language. It's the context that you use them in. So let's use an example of Jeeves. Jeeves is it's a name that a posh butler might have. And a butler is someone who works for a royal or a very upper class family and irons their newspapers and things like that. So you could say, upon my word, Jeeves is on the bridge. If you were really surprised to see the butler Jeeves on the bridge. Don't know what he's doing there. I can't believe it. Upon my word, Jeeves is on the bridge. He should be ironing my newspapers right now. Or you could say, well, I never. Jeeves is on the bridge. That's when you're surprised he's there. Well, I never. Jeeves is on the bridge. He told me he'd have all my newspapers ironed for me by now. I'm waiting for him. Well, I never. I can't believe this. Or perhaps Jeeves is not having a good time in his job. He's a bit stressed and he's going to jump off the bridge because he's been ironing too many newspapers. You would say, God forbid, Jeeves is on the bridge. He might jump. God forbid. You don't want it to happen. God forbid, something terrible might happen here. Or we could say, perhaps, oh, what fun! Jeeves is on the bridge with the croquet. Let's go. If I say, oh, what fun, it's something exciting and unexpected. So you wouldn't expect Jeeves to be playing croquet on the bridge, but now you see it. Let's all go and play with Jeeves. Let's go play croquet. And you could say, chin chin. Chin chin is when you before you drink. Chin chin. Chin chin, everyone. Let's drink some Pims. Moving on here, we've got golly and gosh. They mean almost the same thing. To show surprise. Golly, you've got a bit fat, haven't you? Well, that would be a bit rude if you said that to someone, but you never know. Posh people can be quite direct. Gosh, what a fat little child he is. Surprised. And hear, hear is something that they say in the British Parliament when they're all debating. When they can be bothered to show up there because there's not a lot of things they need to debate these days. But when they agree with something in the Parliament, all those big fat old men shout out, hear, hear, or hear him. That's what they like to say there in the Parliament. They like to say it as loud as they can. Hear, hear. And that means that they show their support and they agree. So now we've finished the lesson, you can go and do the quiz. I'll see you again soon. Cheerio, toodle pip, bye.